Hey guys, Imi here. Welcome back to the channel. We're continuing our adventure in Where Winds Meet today. But first, let's do a super quick recap of what the hell happened last episode. We're about to remind ourselves why I should never be trusted with a keyboard ever again. As we push through the story, we run straight into Yi Dao, who absolutely humiliates me, ties me to his horse like a sack of potatoes, and demands I lead him to Han Yi. I somehow escaped and crawled back home, only to immediately chug something that literally says, "Do not drink." Next thing I know, I'm now a dog. But hey, silver lining, now I get to play MahJong with actual dogs. You get 13 tiles, draw and discard until you've got a winning hand. Points come from special patterns, how fast you win, and whether you self-draw or rob someone else's discard. With Han Yi nowhere in sight, we're just wandering around like lost puppies trying to find her. Yi Dao shows up again, like he purposely let me go so I would lead him straight to his target. With assassins now hot on our heels, we conveniently throw Yi Dao under the bus as a distraction and make our escape. Next thing we know, some absolute madman sees us and just loses his shit. Starts screaming and calls in his horse like he's the final boss of Umamusume. That thing was an actual boss fight. Seconds later, I got bailed out by someone really unexpected. After all the drama, we get home, only to find out that Yi Dao is actually Han Yi's old friend. Whoops. And now, time to evacuate the entire friggin' village because assassins won't stop coming. As we were way too stubborn to just run away with the village, we decided to ditch the whole evacuation plan and go explore the Jianghu instead. Responsibility at its finest. Truly the gold standard of adulting. As night falls and we're about to slip away after one last banquet, the assassins come crashing back like they never left. Yi Dao and I lock eyes for a second. And we both know we're not walking away. We finally met up with the villagers and tried to get them to safety. But in order to break out of the illusion maze, someone has to get to high grounds and spot the real path. Our gremlin Ruby decides to sneak ahead anyway. This naturally drew the attention of Qian Ye, the witch, orchestrating the assassinations and the destruction of the village. She and her archers unleash a literal rain of arrows right at Ruby, and just like that, they took her down. In that instant, rage took hold. The fight that followed was inevitable. After mowing through a bunch of minions like they personally owed me rent, we charged straight for Qian Ye. Not before long, the floor cracks beneath me and I'm sent plummeting into the Shadow Realm. Next up is the boss fight with Qian Ye. Except my original recording for this fight was basically unusable garbage. So I had to rewind and replay the whole thing from scratch. Which is why I'm suddenly rocking completely different weapons and gear. Anyways, let's get back into it. After a quick snap, we got sent into the Nightmare Realm for another round with Qian Ye. This time, we faced 2 copies of her.
你明明有剑，为什么没能救人呢？
Each one exists in a different realm, like mirrors reflecting one another. One moment you're fighting the red-haired version in the original realm, and the next you're swapped over to face her white-haired counterpart in the mirrored dimension.
再给你一次机会，来，杀了我吧！
Surprisingly, this fight against Qian Ye turned out to be pretty straightforward. The attack patterns are quite readable, and I actually managed to clear it in just one try, even in the actual run. Even though it's the same boss, some of her mechanics felt a bit different. What's really interesting is how you get swapped over to the other realm during the fight. On a side note, I'm really liking the weapons I'm using right now. They have way better synergy and feel much more consistent with their damage output. The key is just finding the right timing to execute your rotations properly while managing the boss mechanics at the same time. Qian Ye is known as someone who can disguise herself as anyone, a reflection of the human heart itself. Cold moon, cold heart, 1,000 nights, and not a soul has seen the real her. These mirror copies almost feel like fragments of her true, hidden self. After an intense showdown, we finally break out of that nightmare illusion fight. We reunite with Yi Dao, and it quickly turns into a drunken brawl.
好香的酒，老子还没喝过呢。10年份的离人泪，我请赵哥。干！好酒，好酒！十步，一人，千里，流血。了拂去。 深藏身与名，纵死想香，惨惨世上英。
The Parting Tears wine carries the sting of parting and the memories of those we've lost. In that moment, it felt like a final toast between brothers, a farewell before the end.
小子，还没看过江湖，后悔吗？已经看过了。你守清泉，还有弱水岸，就是江湖。
Yi Dao decides to save me, yeets me out of the room like a human javelin, while he sacrifices himself. Qian Ye then struck him with her blade, and a large explosion followed. Next thing we know, we've literally turned into a horse. I trot around completely lost until we finally reach the destination. And there I am, the real me, alive after all that chaos. Han Yi, however, was nowhere to be found. With that, we continued our journey through the Jianghu. Let's see where the winds will take us next. While we are exploring the rest of Qinghe, we stumble into one of the saddest side stories in the game, Lucky 17. This poor orphan kid was raised by the legendary 16 sword saints of the Hanging Blade. They basically became his whole family and even nicknamed him Lucky 17 because he was always tagging along like the little brother. Before they left on their final mission, their leader casually told him to forge 10,000 swords for them and they will return. 3 years later, the sword saints are long dead, but this kid is still down in the forge, hammering away non-stop, refusing to believe they're gone. When we show up, he thinks we're trying to stop him from finishing the swords, so he attacks us like a tragic, broken guardian. During the fight with Lucky 17, things get even more heartbreaking. While we're clashing with him, a bunch of Oriate Pavilion thugs suddenly show up and try to burn down the entire swordscape. 17 completely loses it. He's desperately trying to protect the giant dragon head statue as swords start raining down on it from the collapsing ceiling. As usual, this boss fight took me way too many attempts to even understand the mechanics. You do not want to see how many times I got flattened by his body slam like a human pancake. On top of that, it's a multi-phase fight. Lucky 17 gets faster, way more aggressive, and in the later phase, he pulls out this monstrous stone cleaver the size of a small car like it's no big deal. As you might have noticed, I'm rocking an umbrella and a spear in this fight. Since I'm still early game, I have zero idea on how to use them efficiently. The only reason I like the umbrella is because it can stun mobs and even bosses for a split second, giving me just enough time to smack them while desperately trying not to die. In reality, these two have basically zero synergy compared to proper weapon combos. Mighty noob at its finest, ladies and gentlemen. This fight took me embarrassingly long. Like, I could have watched a whole movie long.
大龙答应小十七的，等小十七打完这10000把剑，就会回来。坏家伙，坏家伙，为什么要打扰小十七？
我不是，我……
大家不等魏先生都走了，可小十七还要等，我要等到大家回来。
Next up, we stumble into the side story, Blind to the World. And let me tell you, this one hits different. We meet Tiansu by the lake at Crimson Cliff. He tells us about a submerged shrine dedicated to the moon goddess Li Zhenzhen and asks for our help. So we dive in, drain the water by activating some mechanisms, solve a pressure plate puzzle that plays a beautiful melody, dodge a burning corridor, swim through flooded tunnels, and even nail a bell puzzle by sound instead of sight. Deep inside, we find the goddess's body and learn her tragic story. She made a heavy vow for Qinghe and couldn't let go of the quiet life she once dreamed of. We bring back her eyes in the ice jade box, but that's not enough. We have to settle her old vow with some personal offerings, a small blade and a glowing moonlit flower. Once we do that, her spirit finally finds peace. We walk away with the blinding mist mystic skill and a dusty wedding dress, but mostly with a heavy heart. Finally, it's time to try out the gacha system in the game and hopefully not get ourselves too deep into the rabbit hole. After grinding hard and saving up enough resonating melodies, I finally get to pull on the Solemn Echo banner. The game keeps it pretty fair, pure cosmetics only, no pay-to-win bullshit. There are two different types of banners, Solemn Echo for grinders and Celestial Echo for the fancy legendary drip. The pity system's kinda solid. You'll get an epic drop every 10 pulls, and a guaranteed legendary after 150 total draws. I was just doing some casual pulls, and I somehow snagged a really nice cape off the Solemn Echo banner. Got stupidly lucky there. After wrapping up that emotional gut punch with the Blind to the World quest, and finally giving the Moon Goddess some peace, we kept pushing deeper into the Jianghu. Next thing we know, we're standing at Halo Peak, chasing down the mysteries of Qian Ye, the legendary figure tied to the ancient sword saints, and the whole Promised Light prophecy. The journey to Halo Peak was already a complete headache. Solving weird puzzles, dodging traps, and trying to piece together the clues while the story slowly unraveled around us. We're solving these weird bronze mirror contraptions, rotating Buddha statues with mirrors to bounce a single beam of light around the room like some twisted laser puzzle. One wrong rotation and the beam goes everywhere except where it's supposed to. Then you've got the bronze statue traps, these creepy guardians that suddenly come alive and start swinging. To take them down, you just need to deflect their attacks. Easy, right? By the time we finally reached Qian Ye, I was already sweating bullets. Then the real fight began. The fight is brutal from the start. In Phase 1, Qian Ye comes at you, swinging this massive golden staff like it's a freaking tree trunk. He's doing wide, sweeping attacks, slamming the ground for shockwaves, and basically turning the arena into a demolition derby. I'm over here dodging like my life depends on it, while trying to find any opening to hit back. Then Phase 2 hits and the whole arena transforms into this trippy, sandy dreamscape. Qian Ye switches to brutal, close-range combos that hit like a truck, while summoning this massive sand Buddha that smashes down with huge area attacks. I'm slipping and sliding on the sand, getting bodied by statues left and right, and dodging the giant Buddha's fists, all while he is beating the crap out of me up close. Everything is way faster than the first phase, and you need pinpoint precision to parry his attacks, or you get absolutely wasted in seconds. The battle reaches its climax. He pulls off the mask that has hidden him for so long. The man who has lived many lives and worn many identities. Orphaned by war, shaped by loss, he became a master of deception, serving in the shadows while the world saw only the mask. Finally, Phase 3. Qian Ye goes full assassin mode. Daggers out, teleporting all over the place and leaving sand clones that chases you down relentlessly. It's absolute chaos. I'm getting stabbed from behind, parrying for dear life, and praying my deflect timing doesn't fail me at the worst possible moment. I died more times than I care to admit trying to learn his patterns. But after getting my ass handed to me repeatedly, I finally figured it out. When the dust settled, we took him down. Man, this game really knows how to make you earn every victory. In the final moment, the giant statue comes crashing down like divine judgment.
Not good.
Qian Ye gets absolutely crushed underneath it. We both fell into the water, while his body slowly sinks into the depths. Meanwhile, I barely managed to hop out safely. And here we conclude the chapter on the Promised Light. After all those intense boss fights, we finally set sail for Kai Feng, the great capital of the Central Plains. We're heading there to find Qian Ye. The boatman warns us straight up, keep your wits sharp, because the Jianghu is vast and way more complicated than we think. As we pass through the outskirts, we run into Kuipopo, peddling a little toy turtle, and so we bought one. Then this lady, known as Zhou Guafu, tries to sell us a so-called treasure basin that looks like a cheap straw bowl. The scam radar went off immediately, so we passed. Next thing we know, some thugs are pushing some fancier treasure basin on us. We called them out on the spot, and they were really pissed. Suddenly, a cat saves the day, or so we thought. Turns out it was Ying Ying behind it all along. She wanted to treat us to a meal, ordered a bunch of dishes, then ghosted us and left us with the bill. Luckily, Ying Ying left us some clues on how to make quick money. We gave it a shot, only to bump into Lao Jin, who thought we died back in Qinghe. He offered to help sell our grains for a cut. Then we almost got scammed again by Xiaofu with some worthless coins. We managed to sell the grains properly, handed all the profits to Lao Jin because we don't really need it anyways, and the mad lad suddenly pledged to become my son and started calling me father. In the end, we asked Xiaofu to lead us to Kai Feng, and this trip really opened our eyes. The capital isn't just bright lights and prosperity. It's a whole different beast underneath. Scams, poverty, and secrets everywhere. But hey, there's this minigame called Gold Rush, and I've been really excited to try it. Super simple rules. Push your cart around Kai Feng, collect liquid gold, smash into other players to steal theirs, and rush back to the extraction point with as much gold as you can carry. Chaos guaranteed. While editing this episode, I honestly didn't expect it to be this long. The storyline in this chapter is a lot deeper and more intense than I anticipated. Anyways, here's a little sneak peek of what's coming up next. If you liked what you saw, smash that like button, hit subscribe so you don't miss the next episode, and drop a comment below telling me what you'd love to see in upcoming videos. I'll see you in the next one.